On a Thursday, time for the CIFN Midday Update brought to you by Integrated Seed Solutions in Flanagan, plus Steininger Tires in Fairbury, the people who know tires best since 1926. We say good day to Roy Plody with PCI, Division of L&M Commodities up in Leland, Illinois, where I understand the corn's a little wet yet up there.
It sure is. We did some hand testing around here for doing wet corn for the cattle feed, and it was in that 34 to 38, even 39 on a hand test basis. So add another 2.5 to 3% through the combine, and it'll gum up a machine pretty fast.
Yes, we're starting to come down around here with the earlier varieties. Full season still a tad wet, but hopefully we're getting there in the coming days.
Few bean fields over by Sandwich. I heard somebody was running, and maybe up by Waterman, Shavana area, there might have been one or two that were getting into a field of beans that were probably a 2.2, 2.4 variety planted early. Right here where I live, they're turning pretty good, but they've probably still got at least a week to go yet. And seems like everybody's getting fired up and getting ready, but I don't think you'd find any 22 or 24% corn up here right now, unless it was a really early maturity.
Mm-hmm. All right, we'll keep an eye on that. Also, we're keeping an eye on the markets today. What are we doing?
Oh, we got corn back up a little bit. We've been all over the board with a 10-cent range almost in D's corn. We're up 2 1/4 at 688. July corn at 687.5, up 3, and kind of in the middle to the upper end of the range right now. Next December, 628.25. The high's been 631.25. Seems like we go up and test the 695, 693 area and lose a little smoke signal or whatever you want to say to keep us going forward. It's like they lose their frame of mind. They just don't want to go breach that $7 level. Many talking that we still have this gap up there, up above 726, 8 in that range, and some point in time maybe they'll take a run for it, but no guarantees. Lots of headwinds today with the higher dollar again. Got December wheat back up 9 cents, only about 3 cents off the high, 912.75. And July wheat of next year at 914.25, just a penny and a quarter off the high of 915.5. Wheat, of course, rallied really big here in the last couple of days because of what Putin was touting and making concern of the Black Sea region not going to have exports again, or shutting down the, we call it the export corridor. What's agreed upon will go for another 50 or 60 days, I believe. But he's just a wild cannon. I don't know what we're going to do with him. Got soybeans right now down 2 3/4 in the November at 1458.5. And that's 10 cents off the low, but 18 cents off the high. And new crop beans of next year up a penny and a half at 1385.75, 9 cents off the high and 13 cents off the low. So some are talking that soybeans probably have the better chance of South America making balance sheet of soybeans in the world less tight. So soybeans might be the crop that have a little bit more downside risk than corn. Feed grains as a whole, between wheat and barley and corn and oats, in general, still have a hard time to rebuild stocks, and take a little longer to get those stocks actually proven to be rebuilt. And China's ramping up their hog herd again a little bit. So they're retaining some gilts for breeding, and that's why they had to let some of the meat be sold out of their reserves, because they knew they weren't going to butcher as many. They were going to keep them for breeding purposes.
And all indications, back to the harvest subject for a moment, people are pretty hopeful about soybeans. I know it's really early to tell, but fingers crossed there for good yields.
Yeah, it sounds like most people where we got the rains, they're saying, well, we're going to have monstrous bean size. So I guess we'll see how that goes. I know some areas did start getting the white mold and sudden death, and other disease issues, sclerosis. So we'll see if that actually hit into the yields much, but so far I think it's okay. Corn, of course, there's areas we're talking tar spot and anthracnose and some of the blights, but at least so far we've knocked on wood and missed some of the major winds like we've had the last couple of years. There was some hail over Kane County and maybe Page County, I guess. I don't know how widespread it was, but that was just the other night.
Any thoughts? Well, I was gonna say livestock.
Yeah, livestock. I got it flipped. These cattle are back down today at just under 150 and down about 77.5 cents. Livestock with the stronger dollar might hit some headwinds too. And we got the dollar back up above 111, if I remember right. Yeah, right at 111 right now. The high's been 111.58. And that headwind is probably going to dig into exportability for pricing of our meat, as well as crops, grains. So cash prices in cattle have been moving up, and I'm hearing some pretty good premiums for primes. But the problem is nobody wants to feed all that extra corn to get them to prime. So that's why the prime is got a big premium. And feeder cattle are down $1.50 in the November and 35 cents in the October. And we made a pretty big high about a month ago at like 190, 191. We're back at 178.90 in the October feeders. And there's a few people think that with the economic headwinds, we might head back down to that 174, even 171 is a possibility. So anyone thinking twice about buying feeder cattle might want to protect the downside just a touch.
Okay. And you're fresh off a trip out to DC. Thanks for sharing the experiences with us here on the phone the other day. And you've recovered now, huh?
Yeah, I got a nasty ear infection actually on the airplane on the way home. That was not fun. Just getting over that medicine. But other things I had written down here for the day was longer term, the USDA numbers, they're kind of worried that they might short term lower our demand and end up giving us a higher stocks number, but yet sales may ramp up out in that January, February, March timeframe, and then they'd have to flip tail and give us a higher export number. And what makes sense about that is with the peso soybean dollar change they made in Argentina, maybe they just caught a whole bunch of business early. And so then they won't really have the bushels to sell later, and we'll have to make it up later. So our balance sheet maybe is a little better up front, but yet down the road, we're still going to ship them.
Okay. If anybody has questions, wants to find out more from you, how can they reach you?
I still sit here at Leland, Illinois, and my cell phone is 815-474-1679. Probably be another couple of weeks and we'll be making the big announcement, I think. And all excited, got my computer, got my new phone hooked up, gonna be ready to go.
You're good to go on that end. Well, we thank you, Roy, as always, for the Thursday conversation. We'll catch you next week.
Yep, same to you, Kent. Be safe.
All right. CIFN Midday Update brought to us by Integrated Seed Solutions and Flanagan, plus Steininger Tires in Fairbury.